Hey, I'm Jocelyn, and today we're making cuisse de grenouille. In other words, in plain English, we're making frog legs. I love frog legs, my kids love them, and gosh darn it, we haven't been to France in a whole year, which is really a long time for us. So I'm trying to bring a little bit of that home. And fortunately, I was able to get frog legs at my local grocery store. I don't know how they're carrying them all of a sudden, but they are, and I'm not going to question it. So what I've done is I have soaked my frog legs in milk. I used whole milk because that's what we have. You can use any milk. Soak them for about half an hour or so, and then we're going to pull them out and just let them dry on paper towels. My towels aren't actually paper because I'm trying to be kind to the earth. So we're going to just set these aside and let them hang out and drip dry, if you will. So as they're drying, I'm gonna go ahead and salt and pepper them. Use as much or as little as you'd like. It's not like a huge thing. It's just to taste. So once you've got one side done, just go ahead, flip them over, and yes, the marks that they leave on the paper towels is pretty funny. And I don't know, I love making these because somehow I find it really comical. But there you go. Now that I've gotten salt and pepper all over my frog legs and all over my counter, I'm just gonna let them sit for a few minutes while I prep everything else. And really, this is an easy dish to make. We're basically just gonna saute these in a little bit of butter. And then after they're all finished cooking, which is about 3 minutes per side, I'm gonna just I'm just gonna have some minced garlic and butter, and we're gonna drizzle that around it. Often in France, I find that they have like parsley or something cut up in the butter that's on the side, and you can do that. I just don't happen to have any parsley, and it's just parsley. It's not going to be a huge difference. So I have my garlic all ready to go, and then I'm just going to take my butter, and I'm going to take about I'm just going to take half a stick and I'm going to melt it in my pan, and then we're going to cook these frog legs in just a second. I'm going to throw this in the pan first. So while my butter's melting, I'm just going to take these frog legs and I'm going to dredge them in flour, nice and easy, not a big thing. It's just plain old everyday flour. If you are gluten intolerant, you can use tapioca flour, almond flour, whatever your preferred is. So we're just going to dredge them. They're nice and light. This isn't a huge coating. There you go. Sometimes I'm looking at these and I don't know, fairy tales are going through my head with kissing frogs and princes, because they really are just like these perfect little legs. It's a little creepy. So oftentimes in France, our frog legs come like this, perfectly whole, but other times they are cut at the joints. And I think it's kind of up to you. I sort of prefer to do them whole. I don't think it matters one way or the other. They're going to taste just as good either way. All right, so my butter has just melted. There's actually still a little bit of a chunk right there, and I'm just going to let these, I'm going to set a few in here at a time, and we're just going to saute them in the pan. If you are a huge fan of frying, you could do that instead. I've actually fried frog legs rather than saute them, and it works out fine. You're gonna need, I have half a stick of butter in here, but if you're gonna fry them, you're gonna need significantly more oil, so that's gonna add to your fat and things like that. But just kind of keep that in the back of your head. So we're gonna do this for about 3 minutes on both sides. I have this at medium-high heat, just to keep it at a good boil. While you're sauteing these, you don't want to move them around too much because that really light flour coating will come off. My stove is a little bit uneven, so a lot of the butter is going to go this way, and these two are going to cook faster than this one. So I'm going to end up turning my pan around, but that's just simply because my stove is janky. So it's been 3 minutes for this side, and I'm just going to carefully turn these over. It should be a nice golden brown. That one's looking better than that one is. So we'll cook them for another 3 minutes on this side, and you kind of need to watch your butter so it doesn't burn too much. It is getting kind of brown, so I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. And again, I'm going to rotate my pan simply because this is, like I said, my stove's just a little bit off kilter, so the butter is running to one side. The butter is starting to splatter, so I've put a little pan over the top of it so I don't ruin my clothes because I didn't have an apron on, and also because I don't really need to clean up the greasy mess later. Keep your eye on the clock because really 3 minutes per side is all you need. You know, if you need a little bit more than that, that's fine, but you really need to like keep in mind that these cook really quickly and they're delicate. It's all muscle, but they're still pretty delicate pieces of meat, so you want to like pay attention. Okay, so it's been 3 minutes. So I'm going to check them and see that they're all nice and pretty. Okay, can you see why I had to put that splatter guard over it? Let's check. Oh, lovely. Nice and golden. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to take these and set them over here to drain. And then, because I have 2 more sets, I'm going to dump this stuff out of the pan and just wipe it clean. And I'm going to start over. I'm just going to put the other half stick of butter in, and I'm going to do the same thing with the second set of legs. So my second set is nicely browned, and I'm just going to set this over here to drain, just like my others did. And I am going to, once again, wipe out my pan and start anew with the butter. So this isn't like super clean, but it's good enough. I'm going to melt my butter pretty low temperature. And because I happen to have about half a stick that was already warm and done, I'm just going to go ahead and let that melt down. And I'm going to throw in, I have about 3 cloves of garlic that I'm just going to toss in here. And we're going to cook it down for a little bit. If you have parsley at the end, you throw parsley in just for a second. And this is really just going to dress the plate. You're not going to pour it over the frog's legs. You just kind of put it around the edge so you can, as you eat, you can kind of dip it, but without like rinsing off all of the good flavor from that butter and the salt and pepper that's already on your legs. So my butter is just starting to brown just a little bit. I like it to be just a little bit golden, and I can certainly smell the garlic. My whole house is going to smell like garlic, but it's nice and soft. And so I'm just going to take this. I'm going to pour it into something that makes it a little easier to drizzle over the plate. So I've got this little thing here. We're just going to all right, so it's all nice and pretty. I am just going to set these on a plate. You know what? I'll just do one at a time. And we're going to take this and we're going to drizzle it around the frog's legs. I'm going to kind of give it a swirl so that that garlic comes out with the butter. And et voila. You have cuisse de grenouille and a little bit of France right here at home. So I hope you guys try this out. I know it's a little crazy and it's not always easy to find frog's legs, but if you happen to see them, you now know what to do with them and enjoy. So I just wanted to say thank you all for 2,000 subscribers. Kind of can't believe that I have any subscribers, let alone 2,000. So I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the comments and your suggestions. And I swear I'm trying to get around to making loads and loads of stuff that you all have suggested for me to cook. So until then, bon appetit.